इवनिंग एंड वेलकम ऑल ऑफ यू. टुडे इज थर्सडे एंड एज यूजुअल जैसे ही हम हर थर्सडे मिलते हैं, हम वापस आए हैं आपको मिलने के लिए. वेलकम टू दयासरा फाउंडेशन. और आज हमारे साथ में दो बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग एक्सपर्ट्स हैं. एक है जिनका नाम है श्री हर्षा, और दूसरे एक्सपर्ट हमारे साथ है मिस्टर आदर्शी. तो हर्षा जी और आदर्शी, वेलकम टू दयासरा फाउंडेशन.
Thank you, Anand. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
या सो श्री हर्षा जी और आदर्शी दोनों एक ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ में काम करते हैं जिसका नाम है वकील सर्च. अभी आज आप सबको मालूम है कि मार्च एंड आ गया है. वी आर अप्रोचिंग मार्च एंड एवरीबडी रन्स to either two places, CAs or CSs, right? Where all businesses have some sort of closings that they have to do, some sort of compliances that they have to do, and we have to make sure that we are on track with many of the compliance related issues. वो तो एवरी मंथ आते रहते हैं, लेकिन मार्च महीना जो होता है वो मार्च महीने में थोड़े everybody's sleep is slightly disturbed because of various reasons. But today's topic is about that, and in general how to be comfortable in March is, I think, something that we are going to talk about. And the specific focus for today's discussion is about GST. तो आज हम GST के बारे में कुछ क्वेश्चंस है वो सिंप्लीफाई करके पूछने वाले हैं. हमारे जूम सेशन पे आज there are various participants that also have started joining in, so I also welcome all of them. So Priyanka ji hai, Kirti, Samuel, Parag, all of them are here. And I'm sure that many of our other participants are on Facebook and many other places from where they are watching this. So एक छोटा सा पहला शुरुआत का क्वेश्चन श्री हर्षा जी को है कि वकील सर्च ये जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है इसके बारे में आप हमें कुछ जानकारी दीजिए. टेल अस अबाउट वकील सर्च.
Sure, Anand. So, Vakil Search is an online services entity. So, we provide close to 250 plus services relating to the legal space in India. Name anything relating to the legal compliance. Let it be registrations, let it be compliance, let it be intellectual property registration. Anything which is relating to the legal work in India, we provide it online. So, you need not step out of your home, and then still you can avail that particular service through our website. So we currently deliver our services for approximately 5 lakh plus businesses, and we incorporate 10% of total companies in India every month. And we register close to 2.5% of total trademarks which are being registered in India currently. So these are our credits. But yes, as I said, like in this journey, we have a lot more to do, and we are helping our entrepreneurs. So we say our entrepreneurs only one thing: you focus on your business, we focus on your compliances. So that way we make our entrepreneurs journey simple.
Fabulous. Sri Harsha ji, we are very happy to be associated with you, and Dayasara Foundation is actually the connecting platform for all of the entrepreneurs to Vakil Search, where we make it easy. So we are very happy to do that, and entrepreneurs get help in all of these compliances. तो मैं दर्शकों को ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि श्री हर्षा जी खुद एक बहुत बड़े CA है. उनकी बहुत सालों से प्रैक्टिस है, और वकील सर्च जो है वहाँ पे अकाउंटिंग का जो डिपार्टमेंट है, अकाउंटिंग एंड टैक्सेशन, उसके वो हेड है. और व्हाइल ही इज हेडिंग, ही इज आल्सो अ पैशनेट स्पीकर. he likes to interact with people and solve their problems. So that is about हर्षा जी. और आदर्श जी भी उनके साथ में काम करते हैं. उनका भी 7 साल से ज्यादा उनका एक्सपीरियंस है अकाउंटिंग के क्षेत्र में. तो आदर्श जी, वेलकम. तो आपको एक छोटा क्वेश्चन है कि आप जब एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के साथ में काम करते हैं तो आपको क्या एक्सपीरियंस आता है? ब्रीफ में आप बताइए क्या एक्सपीरियंस आता है.
थैंक यू फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड करने के लिए. अब जब एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप से बात करते हैं तो उनमें सबसे ज़्यादा ये टैक्स रिलेटेड या अकाउंटिंग रिलेटेड क्वेरीज होती है. काफ़ी ज़्यादा तो मिथ्स होती है. कुछ उनके दोस्तों ने बताते हैं, कुछ उनके पहले के जहाँ वो काम करते थे वो एम्प्लॉय से पता चलता है, कुछ उनके एम्प्लॉयर जाके पूछते हैं, और इतने सारे क्वेश्चंस आ जाते हैं कि मोस्टली एंटरप्रेन्योर्स कंफ्यूज रहते हैं. थोड़ा इधर से थोड़ा उधर से, पूरा उनका मिसमैच हो जाता है. तो जब हमारे पास आते हैं हम उनको प्रॉपर एक गाइडेंस देना चाहते हैं. सबसे पहले उनका क्वेरी सॉल्व करने का ट्राई करें. पहले समझिए कि क्या है. उसके बाद उनको समझाने में उनको आसानी होती है कि उनको उनका बिजनेस कैसे संभालना है, उन्हें क्या क्या
बहुत
रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, वो क्या करें, फिर आगे जाएंगे। तो उनके लिए भी आसान है, हमारे लिए भी आसान है, कंप्लाइंस भी आसान रहेगा।
एब्सोल्युटली। तो आप हमें ये बता रहे हैं आदर्श जी कि जो एक लोगों को तकलीफ देने वाली बात है वो उतनी तकलीफ देने वाली है नहीं, एंड हाउ टू मेक इट इजी इज अबाउट अ लॉट अबाउट डिसिप्लिन एंड वेरियस थिंग्स। तो आदर्श जी
बिल्कुल।
बहुत ही एक्सपीरियंस्ड एक्सपर्ट है। उन्होंने बहुत सारी बड़ी कंपनी ह्युंडई, मैकेंजी जैसे बड़े इंटरनेशनल फर्म्स के लिए भी काम किया है, और साथ में इंडियन कुछ यूनिकॉर्न्स है, आपको मालूम होंगे, ओला है, ओयो है। इन सब कंपनीज के लिए आदर्श जी ने अकाउंटिंग, टैक्सेशन और सब बातों के बारे में काम किया है। तो वी आर रियली प्रिविलेज। तो आज दयासरा के एफबी लाइव पे दो बड़े एक्सपर्ट्स हमें आप मिल गए हैं। तो थैंक यू सो मच। तो जीएसटी के बारे में हम डिस्कशन करेंगे। जीएसटी जैसे ही जीएसटी यानी सब कंसोलिडेशन और एक टैक्स करके हुआ, तो बहुत सारे लोगों के मन में ये आया कि अरे बाप रे, अभी ये क्या हो गया और इससे क्या होने वाला है। ये नेचुरल एंजाइटी, एनी चेंज ब्रिंग्स नेचुरल एंजाइटी। तो आपकी नोट क्या है हर्षा जी, जीएसटी के बारे में जब वो आया तब से अब तक क्या क्या हुआ और कैसे लोग इसको रिसीव कर रहे हैं?
Yeah, so if I need to mention it in one word regarding the GST, GST is an alternate word for change. So GST, like the introduction of GST itself, is a big change in the country because we merged approximately 36 different taxes which were present in 29 states, and we brought this particular GST into the picture. So then by that itself, it's a big change because politically it is a big change, business wise it is a big change. And even after the launch of GST, now it is almost 3.5 to 4 years. Then the number of days the law is implemented, number of notifications and amendments released in the GST are even more, almost double to the number of days from which the act is implemented. So that way I can summarize GST as in one word, a change. Having said that, we should definitely accept now it is very much simplified when compared to the previous regime. Basically we Indians are not like very much adhered to the standard discipline, or we are not very much adhered to having too much of pressure from the tax departments and all. So that is the reason why people started facing some sort of difficulties in the past 2 to 3 years. But over a period of time, definitely next 5 years down the line, it will be an exciting journey for both government as well as entrepreneurs to make this journey even more simple. Now already n number of like softwares and the number of professionals are available for our help over a period of, because like non-profit organizations like you are also trying to simplify GST for the entrepreneurs. With all this coming into place in the next 5 years, this is going to be an exciting space. Like people will really feel the benefits of GST then. But for now, yes, it's a long journey. For now, yes, there are hiccups in this particular journey for sure.
थैंक यू हर्षा जी। बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग उत्तर दिया आपने। और जैसे ही आप बोल रहे हैं जीएसटी एक चेंज है, लेकिन वी आर ऑन अ मिशन, लाइक दयासरा इज आल्सो ऑन अ मिशन एंड वकील सर्च इज आल्सो ऑन अ मिशन टू हेल्प मेक बिजनेसेस कंप्लायंट। तो बिजनेसेस को जीएसटी करना, ये एक मन में क्वेश्चन आता है एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के। आदर्श जी आप शायद बता पाएंगे कि क्या जीएसटी मैंडेटरी है? मैं एक बिजनेसमैन हूँ, इज जीएसटी मैंडेटरी?
ये काफी लोग सवाल पूछते हैं। जब भी नया बिजनेस आता है तो उनमें सबसे पहले वो जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन ले नहीं ले, फिर लेने के बाद कैंसिलेशन करे, ये काफी नॉर्मल चीजें एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के बीच में। तो यूजुअली अगर मैं वेरी सिंपल भाषा में बोलूं, अगर आप गुड्स ट्रेड कर रहे हैं 40 लाख का टर्नओवर, अगर आप सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं 20 लाख का टर्नओवर, अगर आप ये टर्नओवर लिमिट्स क्रॉस कर रहे हैं तो आपको जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना मैंडेटरी हो जाता है। ये फर्स्ट केस। सेकंड, अगर आप इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई कर रहे हैं, माने आप महाराष्ट्र में हैं, आप गुजरात में गुड्स सेल करना चाहते हैं, तो आपको जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना मैंडेटरी हो जाता है। थर्ड, अभी हम जैसे देखते हैं काफी बिजनेसेस ऑनलाइन हो चुकी है। ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म्स माने अमेजॉन, फ्लिपकार्ट, शॉपिफाई, XYZ सारे प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे रजिस्टर करती हैं। तो उनको अगर वहीं रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना है या रजिस्ट्रेशन करते हैं तो उनको जीएसटी मैंडेटरी हो जाता है। और एल्स अगर मैं खुद अमेजॉन चलाता हूँ तो मेरे लिए भी जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना काफी मैंडेटरी हो जाता है। तो ये ऐसे और भी डेफिनेशंस हैं, बट एक नॉर्मल एंटरप्रेन्योर के लिए इतने में 90% कवर हो सकता है। और इसमें छोटा सा चीज, जैसे वाइड ग्लोबल ऑडियंस सुन रहे हैं, अगर इनका बिजनेस ऑपरेशन नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स में है या हिमाचल प्रदेश में है, तो टर्नओवर 50%, माने जहाँ पे 40 लाख का टर्नओवर था ट्रेडिंग ऑफ गुड्स के लिए, वहां उनके लिए एप्लीकेबल लिमिट 20 लाख हो जाता है। जहां उनका सर्विस लिमिट 20 लाख होता है, वहां लिमिट 10 लाख का हो जाएगा। तो ये बेसिक चीज है, बट इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई करो तो आपको जीएसटी मैंडेटरी हो जाएगा, तो वो बेसिक कंडीशंस रहेंगे फिर।
बिल्कुल। और उसमें कुछ टाइप्स है क्या, जीएसटी के कुछ टाइप्स है?
जीएसटी में टाइप्स है, जैसे आप जीएसटी एज नॉर्मल टैक्स पेयर हो रह सकते हो, आप एज अ कंपोजिशन डीलर रह सकते हो, आप एक कैजुअल टैक्स पेएबल रह सकते हो, आप सोचो फॉरेन नॉन रेजिडेंट हो तो नॉन रेजिडेंट टैक्स पेयर रह सकते हो। तो ऐसे काफी टाइप्स हैं और उनमें फिर और बाइफर्केशंस आते हैं।
ओके ओके। और एक जो जीएसटी जिसने लिया हुआ है, अगर कोई फेल होता है जीएसटी लेने में और उसका टर्नओवर एक्सेस हो जाता है, तो उस सिचुएशन में क्या हो जाता है?
Okay.
जैसे
Tarun,
आज मैं जीएसटी,
please proceed.
Harsha sir, you can continue. That is okay, you can continue.
Okay, fine. So you are saying the person was responsible for GST registration, but he hasn't taken the GST registration, right? I'm really sorry. I'm not very much familiar with Hindi. I can understand, but
No, that's
I'll not be able
absolutely
to
fine. Absolutely.
Okay, Anand. So I'll continue to answer in English. I'm sorry. Anyway, you asked the question that I was liable for GST registration, but I didn't take the registration. So what will happen to me? As long as he finds out, no problem. But the day when, if any office finds it out, then at that point of time, you will be liable for paying the GST penalty of the last dues along with the interest. For example, I was liable to take registration for 1 year. In this 1 year, what goods and services I provided, they'll calculate total amount of goods and services. They'll identify how much is the GST amount, it along with interest, up to 3 times of GST amount. GST amount will be the penalty. They can recover it. And today you might ask me, like, if I don't get registered, how will they be identifying me? How will they get to that I am doing the business? See, today all systems are connected. Your banking system is interconnected with income tax system. Income tax system is interconnected with GST system. So with all these 3 places, government will easily get to know what is your approximate turnover. They might not be able to say exactly, but at least approximately they will be able to easily say you, this is the amount of turnover you, and this much is the amount of tax liability you need to pay. So since all the systems are interconnected, it is difficult to escape now.
और इसमें कंसल्टेंसी, इफ यू हैव अ कंसल्टेंसी along with employment है, तो क्या होता है? What is the situation for that?
Okay, you are saying I am a consultant, like along with an employee. So if I am an employee, then I need not worry about the GST at all. For me, like, GST will not be applicable. My employer organization will take care of the GST. For me, I need not worry about the GST at all. But if I am a consultant working for an entity, maybe for one entity or for 5 or 6 entities, it can be any case. So if I am a consultant, then Adarsh was mentioning the limits, right? 20 lakhs for service provider, 40 lakhs for goods provider. So depending on the nature of my consulting service, I need to get registered for GST. If I am a consultant, GST compliance responsibility will be upon me, but not on my employer. But if I am an employee, then at the time employer itself will take care. I need not worry about the GST related proceedings.
Right. Thank you, हर्षा जी. I am also inviting questions. जो हमारे दर्शक है उनको भी मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि अगर उनको कुछ questions है तो यहाँ पे वो पूछ लीजिए. हमारे साथ में बहुत ही अच्छे 2 experts आए हुए कि और एक question है, कुछ composition scheme करके small taxpayers के लिए होता है. There is something called as composition scheme for small taxpayers. So do you recommend that, and what exactly is it?
Adarsh, you can take this question.
Okay. So कंपोजिशन टैक्स पेयर माने यूजुअल नॉर्मल जीएसटी जब स्कीम में आते हैं तो आपका मंथली रिटर्न्स कंप्लायंसेस जो है काफी बढ़ जाता है और आप टैक्स कलेक्ट करें, बिल्स एकोमोडेट करें, मंथली 3 रिटर्न्स फाइल करें। कंपोजिशन डीलर्स में कैसा रहता है, उनका टर्नओवर अगर 50 लाख से नीचे है तो वो कंपोजिशन स्कीम के लिए अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, जिसमें दे डोंट हैव टू चार्ज टैक्स फ्रॉम द कस्टमर, वो खुद टैक्स बेयर करेंगे। इसमें एडवांटेज क्या है कि आपका कंप्लायंस कम हो जाता है, जो टैक्स है वो आप खुद भरेंगे, बट इट इज एट ए नॉमिनल रेट। जैसे टैक्स वुड बी एट 1%, 5% और मैक्सिमम 6%। तो आपको सिर्फ जीएसटी रिटर्न फाइल करते टाइम आपका टर्नओवर शो करना है, आपके टैक्स जीएसटी रिटर्न्स के रेट शो करने हैं और रिटर्न फाइल करना है, जिसमें इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट या और कोई जीएसटी कंप्लायंसेस में आपको देखने की जरूरत नहीं होगी।
अच्छा, और रिटर्न्स जब फाइल करते हैं, सो व्हाट आर द रिटर्न्स टू बी फाइल्ड अंडर द नॉर्मल जीएसटी स्कीम? यानी जो नॉर्मल जीएसटी होता है वहां पे क्या व्हाट डू वी फाइल, हर्षा जी?
Yeah, so under normal GST, we have mainly two returns which need to be filed. One is GSTR1 and the other one is GSTR3B. And annually, we need to file something called as GSTR9 and GSTR9C. I'll explain you the differences. GSTR1 is a return where we will mention invoice-wise the sales which we did. So whatever the sales which we are doing in this month, let's take this month, this is March month. Whatever the sales which I did in the entire month of March, I need to file it in the next month, that is in the month of April. Before 11th of April, invoice wise, I need to report it to the GST portal. That is GSTR1. And the second return which we need to file is GSTR3B. This is also a monthly return, but in this return, we will make the payment. So before 20th for certain taxpayers, 22nd for certain taxpayers, 24th for certain taxpayers is the due date, depending on the state in which they are registered. So they need to file this particular return in the next month. Like for March month sales and purchases, we will file it in the month of April. In the month of April, on before 20th, 22nd and 24th, depending on your state, you need to summarize the sales and purchases, and you need to make tax payment. How much ever is the balance GST which you need to pay, you need to make the particular payment. These are monthly returns. Apart from GST9 is there, that should be filed before November. So for example, this year will end by March 31st. So for this financial year, 2020-21, we need to file it before December 31st. However, exemption. If your turnover is less than 2 crores, you need not file GSTR9. And there was GSTR. Recently during the budget, Madam announced that GSTR9C will not be applicable going forward. So we need not worry about GSTR9C going forward. But this is for regular taxpayer. I mean, the people who are having turnover of more than 5 crores. But if you have less than 5 crores turnover per year, then at the point of time, there is a new scheme which is announced. I think we cover it as a part of our discussion. There is a new scheme which is announced very recently, 2 months back, called as QRMP scheme, quarterly return and monthly payment scheme. So as a part of that scheme, we need to file the returns and then make payments. But if you're a normal taxpayer having more than 5 crores turnover, or even if there is less than 5 crore turnover, still I am opting only for normal scheme. Then these are the 3 main returns: GSTR1, GSTR3B, GSTR9. Now GSTR9C will not be applicable for next year. So I mean from 2021, GSTR9C is not applicable, so we need not discuss. 1, 3B, 9. These are the 3 normal returns.
All right. और ये जो कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम है, नॉर्मल टैक्स पेयर और कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम, तो उसमें क्या डिफरेंस है? व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? आदर्श जी अगर आप बताएंगे।
ओके, एग्जांपल, नॉर्मल टैक्स पेयर्स कैसा है, वो जब जीएसटी रिटर्न्स फाइल करेंगे उनके पास एक ऑप्शन रहता है इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट लेना। अभी इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट माने अब जब जीएसटी में कुछ भी आप परचेज करते हो तो आप जो जीएसटी पे करते हो वेंडर को, अब वो जीएसटी का क्रेडिट ले सकते हो जो आपकी सेल्स के टर्नओवर के अगेंस्ट एडजस्ट होगा। और आप नॉर्मल स्कीम वाले ये ऑप्शन प्रेफर कर सकते हैं। कंपोजिशन स्कीम में आप इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट नहीं ले सकते और आप एक स्पेसिफाइड रेट पे टैक्स चार्ज करेंगे विच वुड बी अ वेरी लोअर रेट, जहाँ पे इसे नॉर्मल जीएसटी रिटर्न में मोस्ट ऑफ द गुड्स और सर्विसेज फॉल इन 18%, कंपोजिशन स्कीम में मैक्सिमम जीएसटी रेट वुड बी 6%।
Sorry, Anand, you're on mute.
कंपोजिशन स्कीम के बारे में आपने बताया और क्यूआरएमपी के बारे में भी बताया। तो ये जो क्यूआरएमपी है, गवर्नमेंट इज एडवर्टाइजिंग अ लॉट, तो हमारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए भी क्वेश्चन है कि इसके बारे में थोड़ा डिटेल में आप बताइए, क्यूआरएमपी यानी क्या है?
Yeah, so usually there were 2 schemes, I mean 2 registrations, right? Mainly 2 types of registration. One is normal taxpayer registration and the other one is composition. Though there are many types, we can ignore all of them. These are 2 main types. One is normal and the other one is composition. Usually for the composition taxpayers, the advantage was They used to file returns every quarterly, and one annual return was there. That was the advantage for composition tax people. So that is the main reason why people used to opt for composition scheme, apart from the reduced tax rates. So this was for composition scheme. This will continue to exist. But when it comes to normal taxpayer, even in the normal taxpayer registration category, there are many small people. For them, it is becoming difficult to comply with GST every month by filing various returns. So what government said is, they came up with this particular scheme called QRMP, which stands for quarterly return monthly payment. You need to make payment of GST every month, but you will file the return only quarterly once. And while making the monthly payment also, you need not compute everything. You need not consider your sales. You need not consider your purchases and all. Based on your previous quarter sales and purchases, you can make the payment. Only at the end of the quarter, you will start filing the return. So now what will happen? Earlier, for a normal taxpayer, every month 2 returns, which means in a year 24 returns plus 2 annual returns. 26 returns were there for each GST registration.
Right.
But now under the QRMP scheme, only 4 returns every 4 returns for each quarter, 1 return, which is 4 returns,
Okay.
plus 4 GST quarterly 2 returns, which means 8 returns plus 1 annual return, 9 returns will be there. Earlier 26 has become 9 now. That is the biggest difference between the QRMP scheme and the regular normal registration scheme. But this QRMP scheme, you can opt in only if your turnover is less than 5 crores. If your turnover is more than 5 crores, then you cannot go for QRMP scheme. You can go only for regular scheme. But less than 5 crores, you can opt for QRMP scheme.
All right. यानी जो छोटे बिजनेसेस 5 करोड़ से कम वाले हैं, उनको थोड़ा सा तकलीफ कम हुआ है, यानी their hassles have gone a little down, 26 versus 9. So I think it's made a little easy, which is a benefit for many other businesses which are below the turnover of 5 crores. Great. तो अभी का क्वेश्चन है आदर्शी के लिए कि ये इनवॉइसिंग के बारे में है. GST compliant invoicing, an invoice that takes into consideration GST. How to do that is the question. What is a GST compliant invoicing?
Okay, so GST compliant invoicing, जैसे हर्षा जी ने बोला GSTR1 फाइल करना होता है, तो उसमें कैसा होता है, you have to manually enter the details every time. तो GST का डिपार्टमेंट ने यूटिलिटी, मैं यूटिलिटी उसको वर्ड यूज करना चाहूंगा, एक यूटिलिटी जैसा एप्लीकेशन आप यूज बोल सकते हो, वो प्रोवाइड किया है जिसपे आप नॉर्मल इनवॉइस तो जनरेट करेंगे आपके कस्टमर्स को देने के लिए, बट ई इनवॉइसिंग में अगर आप वो इनवॉइस अपलोड करते हो तो आपके कंप्लायंसेस इजी हो जाएंगे, बिकॉज ये डिटेल्स ई इनवॉइसिंग से ऑटो पॉपुलेट होंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जैसे पहले अभी भी है ऑप्शन GST ई वे बिल्स जो ट्रांसपोर्टर्स जनरेट करते हैं, ताकि डिटेल्स ट्रांसपोर्टर्स के बीच में शेयर होता रहे. सिमिलरली ई इनवॉइसिंग में आप जो इनवॉइस जनरेट करेंगे वो ऑटो पॉपुलेट होके आपके GST रिटर्न्स के वैलिडेशन में काम आपका आसान हो जाएगा.
राइट. और आपने इनवॉइसिंग के बारे में बताया, तो उसमें कुछ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इनवॉइसिंग, बाकी कुछ तरीके हैं क्या? आर देयर एनी डिफरेंट वेज ऑफ डूइंग इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इनवॉइसिंग?
Yeah, actually, till date, until now, we used to generate invoices based on our accounting software. If you are using Tally, we used to generate based on Tally, QuickBooks, Zoho, whatever the software you used to use. Based on that software, we used to generate the invoice and give it to our customers. But now this is a new concept called e-invoicing, electronic invoicing, which the government has brought in. But this is applicable for now, talking as of date, it is applicable only if your turnover is more than 100 crores. But from April 1st to 2021, it will be applicable if your turnover is more than 50 crores. So like from April 1st, which means 5 days down the line, for more than 50 crores turnover, e-invoicing will become mandatory. I'll say the main difference between normal invoice, which is generated from the accounting software, and e-invoice. The main difference is, in a normal system, till now, what we are doing is, we will raise all the invoices in the month of March or in any month. In the next month, we will upload in one shot into the GST portal. But in case of e-invoicing, it will not be that way. As and when you raise the invoice, immediately you should report it in the GST portal. Then and there, it will happen in 2 seconds. Your accounting software itself will be connected to the GST portal. Automatically, details will be forwarded to the GST portal. GST portal will give you the invoice. The invoice will become standard format. Currently, If you purchase something from Big Bazaar, invoice format will be different. If you purchase something from the Reliance store, invoice format will be different. But in case of e-invoicing, that problem will be eliminated completely. All invoices will come into the standard format with a unique invoice number, which is provided by the GST department. Now, currently, invoice number is decided by you and me. I mean, the taxpayer is deciding the invoice number. Going forward in e-invoicing concept, it will be decided by the government itself. Unique invoice number will be provided by the government, and there will be a QR code as well. Here we are getting used to QR code, right? Phone Pay QR code, Google Pay QR code. The same kind of QR code will be available on the invoice as well, through which by just scanning that invoice, we will get to know the complete invoice details. We need not like read the entire paper. Just to scan that invoice, you can immediately push it to the various portals relating to the GST as well as your accounting software and all. So overall, invoicing compliance is going to become little more tedious process for more than 50 crores people. But yes, next 1 year down the line or 2 years down the line, this will become mandatory for everybody. But for now, it is mandatory only for above 50 crore turnover people.
Right. Now, one more question is that along with GST, do you need to also maintain any other records that support the GST documentation, or is there anything that one needs to take care while you are doing all your GST processes?
Yes, when you are registered for GST, there are certain mandatory details which you need to maintain in your entity for sure, because at any time assessing officer can come for the inspection of these records. So you need to maintain. So the first one is list of all the sales invoices. The second one is list of all the purchase invoices where we purchase the goods and services. The third one is sales register. The invoices will be summarized in the sales register. Purchase register. Purchases will be summarized in this purchase register. ITC register, input tax credit ledger, input tax credit register. Then the list of GST payments which we made to the government, and reverse charge related purchases. In certain cases, though I purchased the goods, I need to make the payment of GST. Usually seller will make the payment of GST. In reverse charge cases, I need to make the payment of GST. List of those items. These are all the main things which I need to maintain. But to maintain this, additionally, there will be a lot of reconciliations between GSTR 1 and 3B, 1 and 2A. There will be a lot of reconciliations and then tallying things which we need to do. Those reconciliations also we need to maintain. These things it should be available always in our entity. At any time, if the assessing officer is coming for the inspection, then we should be able to produce these documents.
All right. I think very important information. हर्षा जी ने जो अभी बताया कि जो ancillary और बाकी के supporting documents है, I think it's a very good discipline and very good habit to keep all of these documents properly and also have various cross connections. तो आपके सिर्फ डॉक्यूमेंट्स यानी सिर्फ जीएसटी फाइलिंग नहीं, उसके साथ में इनवॉइसिंग बाकी सब बातें हैं वो भी ठीक से रखना, और जब आपका बिजनेस बढ़ रहा है उसी टाइम में ये सब कॉम्प्लायंस करके लेना, आई थिंक इज द राइट चॉइस. लेट द बिजनेस गो एंड क्रॉस 20 and then we'll see, but you should start becoming aware immediately as soon as your invoicing is going up, and make sure that you are compliant. एक क्वेश्चन है जीएसटी नंबर के बारे में, थोड़ा सा ऑन अ लाइटर नोट आई हैव दिस क्वेश्चन कि उस कोड का कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग तरीका है, वो कोड बनता कैसे है, उसके बारे में भी आदर्श जी बताइए. और दूसरा एक छोटा क्वेश्चन आया, पराग लकड़े जी हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट है, उन्होंने पूछा व्हाट आर द जीएसटी प्रोविजंस फॉर एडवांस पेमेंट्स. तो पराग जी का क्वेश्चन हम पहले लेंगे और बाद में जीएसटी नंबर के बारे में.
Okay, fine. So GST for advance payments, right? So as a taxpayer, if I receive any advance, so as a GST registered person, if I receive any advance for goods, supplying of goods, then I need not pay the GST at the time of receiving the advance. For example, this is March month. My customer is coming and he's saying me, sir, I am paying you 50,000 rupees advance now. I'll pay you the balance in the month of August when you supply the goods. So there's still 6 months left. So he's saying balance I'll pay in the month of August and then take the goods which I'm asking for. If it is for goods, advance is being paid, then I need not worry about GST. I need not pay the GST now. I'll just take that 50,000 and then keep it in my pocket. But if it is for services, let's assume one customer is coming to me and he's saying, sir, in the month of April, we need your consulting services. In the month of May, we need your teaching services. Something of that nature, he's coming. For the sake of services, he's providing me the advance. Or like, let's assume he's calling me for photography for an event. So for services, if he's giving me the advance, then while receiving the advance itself, I need to make the payment of GST. For goods, I'll make the payment of GST only when I supply the goods. But for services, I need to make the payment of GST on receipt of advance itself. So that is the main difference in case of advances between the goods and services.
ग्रेट ग्रेट। और अभी आदर्श जी ये यूनिक नंबर के बारे में,
जीएसटी
जीएसटी
नंबर,
नंबर के।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। सो जो जीएसटी नंबर होता है वो एक 15 डिजिट कोड होता है। अगर आप ऑब्जर्व करेंगे फर्स्ट 2 कोड जो होता है वो स्टेट स्पेसिफिक होता है, हर स्टेट के कोड होते हैं वो यूज किया जाता है, जो फर्स्ट 2 डिजिट्स हैं। नेक्स्ट 10 डिजिट्स जो आते हैं वो आपका पैन नंबर हो गया। तो एग्जांपल आप से आपका पैन नंबर तो हर स्टेट में सेम रहेगा बिकॉज इट्स अ सेम एंटिटी। आप अगर डिफरेंट स्टेट्स में रजिस्ट्रेशन करेंगे तो फर्स्ट 2 डिजिट्स है वो स्टेट स्पेसिफिक चेंज होता रहेगा। जो आपका 13th डिजिट है, माने पैन नंबर खत्म होने के बाद जो डिजिट आता है वो आपने कितने रजिस्ट्रेशंस ले रखे हैं उस पर डिपेंड करेगा। और 14th कैरेक्टर जो होता है वो अल्फाबेट Z होता है, वो बाय डिफॉल्ट दिया जाता है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से। एंड जो लास्ट कोड है वो होता है एरर्स डिटेक्ट करने के लिए, जो गवर्नमेंट कोड असाइन करता है। तो ये ऐसे फॉर्म में हमारा 15 डिजिट जीएसटी नंबर बनता है।
ऑल राइट, इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू ऑल्सो नो द लॉजिक बिहाइंड कि ये जीएसटी नंबर बनता कैसे है। अभी बात करेंगे ये कैंसिल करना है, अगर जीएसटी आपका कैंसलेशन है तो हाउ डू यू डू इट एंड हु कैन कैंसिल जीएसटी नंबर?
So there are different times, different scenarios in which we might go for cancellation. Sometimes we are stopping the business and we are voluntarily making the application for cancellation. In that case, before making the application, we should have filed all the pending returns. If there are any pending returns, we cannot make cancellation application. First, we need to file all the pending returns. Then we can make an application for cancellation, explaining the complete reason, like why we are going for the cancellation. And if required, we need to get the chartered accountant certificate relating to the inventory which is available in our premises. So we need to mention clearly the reason why we are going for cancellation. Once we make an application online, assessing officer, I mean the GST officer basically, sometimes he might call us asking for like clear-cut reasons. Sometimes he will approve it online itself. Most of the 90% of the cases they are approving online itself. So they'll approve it, then GST is cancelled. But once cancellation order is passed by the officer will send a letter to us saying that your GST is cancelled because you made an application. Once this order is received, within 30 days, we need to file one more return called GSTR 10. There is a final return. This is the final return on cancellation of GST. This return we need to definitely file GSTR 10. This is in the normal scenario. But sometimes what will happen is, if I am not filing the return for more than 6 months, then assessing officer itself, I mean the GST officer, he will send a notice to me. Sir, you are not filing the return for more than 6 months now. If you either you file the returns with all the penalty, or come to my office and discuss why you are not filing. If both of the things, if you are not doing, then I'll go and cancel the GST registration is what officer will say. Officer will send a notice. And you have to ideally respond to that notice. Either you have to complete all the pending filings, or if you don't have money to pay the penalty or something like that, you first go and meet the officer, request him for extending the time, ask him for 30-40 days of time. If you don't do that, then he himself will cancel. Once he cancels, then you have to file GSTR 10, even if he is cancelling voluntarily on his end, but still you have to file GSTR 10. But in this scenario, if you want to get back the GST registration, it becomes difficult because again, you need to file all your pending returns. Again, go to the assessing officer. This time, 99% you should go physically. And then you should talk to the officer to get back your GST registration number. So these are the two scenarios. Either you can voluntarily apply for cancellation, or officer itself, if you are not filing the return, he himself will send the notice for cancellation.
All right. Harsha ji, very, very important and very clear-cut directions is what you gave. There is one question from Dipti ji Borse. She's asking, there are many places where you see these GSTN numbers written on the gate, or so she's asking if entrance of home-based business should also keep a certificate at the address, or what is the rule?
Yeah, madam, this is a true problem actually. This is a true problem even for many of our clients. The reason is, as per the GST law, it is mandatory for keeping the board nearby the entrance of the business premises. If your home is business premise, definitely you should keep the board, at least a simple board with the name of your business entity and a GSTN number displaying over there. But there are two different types of problems. If you don't keep this board, the problem is, if GST officer is coming for inspection, he will levy a penalty. If you keep this board, the problem is, since we are using our home for commercial business sake, if any municipal authorities are coming in, they will say you are using your residence for commercial purpose. So we will convert your registration into, I mean, your house into commercial property, but not into residential property. That becomes a problem. So this challenge is there for sure. Simply, I can say this way: keep board. Definitely keep the board for sure. Keep a small board so that even if officer is coming in, you'll be able to show that yes, at this particular place board is available, or at least keep a board and keep it ready for yourself. You can paste it inside your house somewhere at least. If you are making the first room of your house for the purpose of business, then at least paste it in that particular room. But somewhere it should be publicly visible. The number and the name of your entity should be publicly visible.
Great. I think Harsha ji really helpful. In very short period of time, Harsha ji and Adarsh ji just gave very clear guidelines for all of us. And मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि इस डिस्कशन से बहुत सारे मन में जो सवाल थे जीएसटी के बारे में, आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर ऑल क्लियर्ड. बट वी आर नाउ फीलिंग मोर कॉन्फिडेंट एज एंटरप्रेन्योर्स कि अगर हमारे पास कुछ क्वेश्चन है तो दयासरा फाउंडेशन के जो ये सेशंस है ये भी हेल्पफुल होने वाले हैं. और Vakil Search is the direction to go while we are talking about these things, because these are all experts, and guidance from experts is what you need in difficult times. So very friendly way, we had a lot of interesting chat, and thank you for joining in into this session. Okay, एक last question I वो ले लेते हैं. Can we file revised returns?
No, the word revision itself is not there in GST for now. We cannot revise any return. But however, if you have committed any mistake in the last return, there is an opportunity to rectify that mistake in the next return. But however, we cannot revise the original return itself. In income tax and all, if I file the return, I can go and revise the same return. But in GST, if I file any return by mistake, for example, March month return I filed by mistake, I have to rectify it in April, or I have to rectify it in June, but I cannot file the revised return for the month of March. Returns filed is filed forever.
All right. Thank you so much, Harsha ji and Adarsh. And we will invite you again. I'm sure that compliance के बारे में बहुत सारे discussions हम आगे जाके करेंगे. और Vakil Search will definitely guide us in this direction. Thanks a lot for being here, and I thank all the participants also to come in and join the session, as well as all the participants on the FB Live. Thanks a lot, and see you again on the next Thursday with a different topic. Next week we are discussing Udyam. So see you again next. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anand. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you very much.